I've never seen it.
And they have the mini golf that has like giraffes standing around, and none of the holes
Hell
have any.
yeah.
All the obstacles are a rock or something.
Yeah.
But then I was just in Denver last month and went to mini golf with my nephew, and it was so intense that they have a chip in the ball, and all of the holes are like. One of the holes literally has you answer a trivia question. Putt to the left if it's true and the right if it's false. And they're shaming you. They'll put a big question up there. They'll be like, Laura Ingalls Wilder wrote, and they put some book she didn't write in this year, true or false. And you're like, well, if I get this, I also don't like women in front of everybody at the mini golf course.
That's a lose-lose situation. That's no good for anyone.
And my nephew got his true-false question right, and he can read a little bit. He's 5, and he put it to the thing, and it celebrated. But it tracks how many hits you have in your chip, in your ball.
You cannot cheat.
No, and he found that out because he likes to do the tap, 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 tap.
Sure.
And he started to tap it, and it goes 4, 5, 6. And he was like, no, these don't count. He's like screaming at the TV, and they're like, 7, 8.
Awesome.
Grant got an 8.
I don't care for that.
Just shamed in front of the whole thing.
I don't need the government that deep into my mini golf game.
True,
You know what I
tracking
mean?
our golf,
How did they know how many you were going to get on that
The chip's probably
hole?
up here, man. You think it's in the ball.
Yeah.
I did get the COVID vaccine, and I scored worse than everybody.
See?
They're on you, man. They're on to you. They're tracking it. And the earth is flat.
I just couldn't do it with this guy at the thing. But those are the two mini. There's just mini golf that's right, and that one's easier to get a hole in one on the robot one because they're like hit it on this drum and you get it automatically or something, or it goes in the big funnel.
Because I feel like I'm always on ones that are, you're like, oh, look, the AstroTurf is curled up and peeling. Like, that's an accidental.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So I always tell myself, like, it's not that I'm terrible at this, which I am, but also there are all these opportunities that have been created outside of the design that are just incidental that you're like, well, I'm never going to.
This is like environmental implications.
I like human obstacles. I feel like all my most memorable mini golf games were like because of stuff going on outside of the mini golf, where it was like either like a big fight. I did a mini golf one. Oh my god! I did a mini golf one time in Austin. I ended up in this. I'm trying to think of the shortest way to tell the story. I ended up in a scenario where I was with an ex-girlfriend that I currently was getting back together with, in the process of getting back together with, and ended up playing a round of mini golf with her and the girl that I had broken up with her for a few months before that. And none of the three of us lived in Austin at the time. It was such a weird
just to talk about this.
scenario.
I'm actually very happy to talk about this.
And that was just like...
The name of the story is the movie you haven't seen.
Oh, man.
No.
You could just cut through the tension with a knife. Let me tell you, that was like...
Or a putter.
Or a putter. I mean, I did not make a single hole. It was just
You're saying you could putt through the tension with a knife?
I wish. It was hell on earth. It was so uncomfortable.
But see, now I want to know how that happened.
In my early 20s, I really was just real cavalier, I think, about a lot of things that I didn't think through as far as...
But you weren't like, hey, sorry, it didn't work out. Hey,
what
you,
circumstance? How would they retell?
Let's play golf.
I think if I'm remembering correctly, I was... As a friend, I'm friends with a lot of people that I've dated before. So as a friend, I wanted to see the current ex, and because I was in town, she was in town. I was like, hey, let's get together and like catch up. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play mini golf. And the girl I was getting back together with, that was like a recent thing, like that. The night before that happened. So when we woke up, we were like, oh, let's get breakfast, and then like let's have a day together. What are you doing? Oh, I'm playing mini golf with a friend. Like, I love mini golf. Like, and at some point, I'm trying to think of what age I got to where I learned like you should tell her not to come.
Right.
You would not have that person come with that.
Yeah.
Definitely not at 24, because I was like, yeah, sure, it'll be fun. Like, let's go.
It sounds like you might be realizing that now.
Like, you remember when he said, oh, God?
This happened last week. This happened last week.
But he'll be the flat earther version where he'll end this and be like, but I think it's fine. They were both there.
I mean, they're friends now. No, yeah. It was...
they're married.
That honestly might have been the dumbest thing I ever done.
And it was just the 3 of you?
Yeah, just the 3 of us. Yeah.
Which is also a hilarious number at mini golf.
If you tell me one extra friend was there, I'm going to give you a pass.
My best friend, Alex...
Just the 3 of you.
My best friend, Alex, who like would step in front of a bus for me, that was like maybe the one thing where he was like, yeah, I'm not coming to that. Like, you're on your own for that, dude. It's pretty good.
We have water over there, by the way, if you want to grab, if anyone wants any.
I guess I could take a water.
Otherwise, why do I have this little fancy bottle?
I know, I want the fancy
Speaking
bottle
of Highland
and the
Park,
fancy glass.
I got this at one of those, those stores where you're like, hey, you just kind of sell some. I got this at one of those. It'll be called like Crane and Oof,
I know exactly
or something like that. And,
exactly what you're talking about.
It's some ampersand-based wares
it's like
store.
Two wonderful shower gels, a bundle of sage.
Yeah, like I've never...
Homemade glasses, homemade soap.
This was the one clearance
thing. A couple of like $3,000 like cowboy hats.
Yeah.
But
I'm here for this attempt.
I don't know how to do it. I was going to ruin it.
This won't work on a podcast at all. But
angle.
at the airport on the way to Arkansas to watch the eclipse, I saw a woman who might have been 90 grab Burger King for her. They were in a group of people with matching eclipse shirts on, which was adorable. And they were all like 20, 24. Yeah. They were going somewhere else, but it was like Poplar Bluff, Missouri watch party. And then she grabbed a coffee like this, like backhand.
Oh, no.
And then walked all the way across we could see her on the far side, walking all the way with one coffee in her backhand like this, and then tried to hand it to the woman and started to pour coffee on her. And the woman goes, "You need to stop." But it's like the whole airport, this once again won't work on the podcast, saw her backhand, almost like who's Michael Myers carrying and like hiding his knife by his side. Yeah. One what Burger King coffee.
Decision.
Once you commit to it, though, you're kind of in. You can't really like.
But where are you? What physical circumstance causes you to be like, this is the only way I can do this?
There's no way it's ever better.
That's,
And then once it happened, my girlfriend was like elbowing me, and she's like, "Look how this woman's carrying this stuff over here." And I was like, "At least we have something to do for a few minutes."
Yeah.
Which is watch this. No one help this woman.
You need to stop.
I just don't. I drive everywhere. This is the first time I've flown. I have like a nerve situation in my head, so I tend not to fly. And I drive everywhere. And I forgot that every time you go to the airport, it's everyone's first time there.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And it's I forgot how much I hate it. I hate when the plane lands and everyone is rushing to stand.
Gotta be first.
I hate it all so much. It stressed me so much. But we're back, and the eclipse was cool. Cool pictures. I mean, not really. I didn't get any. There was like two very cool college kids who go to the University of Oklahoma who just drove straight to this campsite in their car, camped in a tent, and brought telescopes with filters and video and all this stuff. They're like astronomy students.
Yeah.
And they're just like, this is incredible. We're doing this as a project, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was like, they're showing everyone their footage and stuff. It's very cool.
But you know what? I feel like it's either that or nothing. Like what I felt when I saw the eclipse, because I took a little video. It was more, the video became more about like my reaction to things as they were sort of happening and someone else was doing it. But it was so like short and meaningless. And I walked away being like, I'm super okay that we don't have, because it's such a physical experience too. Like seeing a picture of an eclipse is like, wow.
Like the God version of fireworks.
The goosebumps. You want exactly. Like at a certain point, you're like, okay, I guess it's actual. You had to be there. And that's okay for us to still have those. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, I have no. We took one time lapse of the campsite over the lake, so you could see it get. But that was just the phone sitting there for 10 minutes before and after the eclipse.
Yeah.
But then I while it's about to happen, I'm like, I'll take a picture, and I look at my phone. I'm like,
why?
What is this for? Who this is?
Exactly.
I'm like mad at my phone.
Yeah.
But why? My phone can't be expected to take this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
NASA wouldn't let Apple release a phone that took a good eclipse picture. We'd see it was fake.
No, they're controlling us.
I'm so glad you guys agree.
Anyways, the podcast.
Great.
That we're here for.
Sure.
Todd, you don't even know what movie we're doing.
I don't. I'm really excited to find out.
I don't know if
what is it?
You've even seen this movie.
What is it?
This is the first time we've done a movie where I actually don't know if I've seen it or not.
Whoa,
so
exciting.
This could be, we could have 3 blind mice.
Yeah,
we could.
That'd be very exciting.
So we're here with Janet Varney, who has never seen Apocalypse Now.
Oh, nice.
I haven't.
Have you?
Oh, is that why we were talking about the crazy conspiracy stuff?
No, that's actually not at all. That's just how the world is.
Yeah,
I just came into a flat Earth joke. That's awesome.
That's why I said your mini golf story was the same. Could have had the same title as this movie.
Oh hell yeah, that was Apocalypse Now.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're a filmmaker. I feel like
it's one of those you kind of have to. Yeah, it's in the curriculum.
You know what? I'm not surprised I haven't seen it because for most of my life I couldn't watch war movies. I get too upset.
It's a tough one. It's not a happy. I mean, I feel like this and Platoon are like the two that like made everybody be like, oh, you know what? Maybe war is bad. Maybe we're not like. There's no heroes here. There's no like the good guys are winning. It's just like this sucks.
There were so many. I haven't seen. Maybe Todd and I went to college together. And had the same Ramsey Wise film professor.
Okay.
And I think he showed this, and I missed the showing and watched a little bit of it to try and prep for whatever quiz we would have on it or something like that. And then I don't know. I think I've picked. This is one where I'm just like, I've picked it up in clips. Maybe I've seen some things.
Yeah.
I think I sat down to watch it one time on an airplane and felt bad because a kid had a point of view of my computer or something.
I think Ramsey,
and I have no idea.
I think he was big on showing Hearts at Dark. I think he was big on showing the doc about the making of it.
Okay.
Because
I've only read.
a Missouri filmmaker. A guy
people say
it.
that's In fact, I feel like I've had people say like, you know what? Maybe you don't even need to see the movie. Just see Hearts of Darkness.
It is kind of more interesting.
I'm
to
like,
be honest,
okay,
at this stage in life.
I know I've read I know I've read the Joseph Conrad. Like I know I've read Heart of Darkness.
Tight.
Like in college.
Very cool.
So I essentially only know like.
So that's the book this is based off of?
Exactly. Yeah. So I sort of know that I know that there's this iconic person who goes crazy. Essentially, is like what I what I remember.
I've seen The Aviator. I feel like it's probably pretty similar.
Exactly the same. Long nails. Long nails.
Someone not held accountable long enough.
Perfect. Yes.
I know nothing about it, except even the iconic moments. You could convince me were from a different movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It's so weird to be like, I like war movies.
They're cool. They're fun. It's a great way to get history. I feel like historical movies usually are not, don't have anything exciting about them. Yeah. And like war movies are kind of exciting. Not even in like, this is awesome way, but like, oh my God, someone might get hurt, or like, this is crazy. These guys are doing this. Like, it's just like, it's a good complicated historical thing.
What I always struggle with them, what I think sometimes they're easier because the people they cast are 35-year-olds playing 19-year-olds.
Right.
Yeah.
I have an easier time with that than when it's an actual 19-year-old. And I'm like, oh, no.
This is insane. Yeah.
No.
Would they send these people to war?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this guy should be learning emojis or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is insane.
Totally.
But when it's like Band of Brothers, I really enjoyed.
Haven't seen it.
And it's easier because I know some of the actors. You know what I mean? Like, it's David Schwimmer. And I know he's young or whatever, but I'm like, hey, my belief isn't suspended enough to feel horrible.
Yes.
Yeah, because I can easily, even Schwimmer aside, I can replace Schwimmer with like, oh my God, a real person. Like that
you
was
and
what
everyone
it was.
in Hollywood, right?
So.
That's the problem for him.
Sorry, David.
We did Nyad
so
on
sorry,
here a
David.
few weeks ago, so we've done Schwimmer stuff already.
Yeah.
That was a
Great.
swimming
We've
joke.
Covered all the Schwimmer. Perfect. Schwimmer joke. I was that kid who like, I remember even like, I mean, I haven't seen Good Morning Vietnam because my dad was like, this one, I think you know, this, I think it's rated R, but he's like, you know, you can,
I wonder if it is
put this on. And I didn't get, I think I got through the first 10, something happens in the first 10 minutes that I was devastated by and was like, I can't ever see this. So I've never seen that. Like there's just a good number. I've never seen Platoon. I did not watch Band of Brothers.
I think it's okay to be affected negatively by war.
Yeah, I think it's
a healthy
with
personal
me,
trait.
guys?
I think we
come on.
More so, we should be looking at people who can like watch 5 in a day and be like,
all right,
or
I'm good. Let's get me out there.
Like a dad, just how they sort of disassociate is watching Ken Burns' Vietnam documentary. Like I don't know if this is healthy for the third time.
Yeah, I feel like if nothing else, just it's good for that joke in Naked Gun when they go on their first date and they come out of the movie theater laughing, and then it pans up and they were seeing Platoon. That's like that. These movies existing for that joke to exist is worth it.
Oh, I think you say War was worth it for the joke in Naked Gun.
honestly might have been. At least they didn't die in vain.
20-year period.
American imperialism is what it is, but soldiers coming back to their dog videos, I feel like makes it all okay.
Born on the 4th of July, haven't seen it. What else?
That one's a tough one to get through.
They snuck it in with Forrest Gump, so I saw like the Forrest Gump chunk because it was like not a movie about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Lieutenant Dan loses his legs, right? That's a whole thing.
He'll be okay.
Yeah. Lieutenant Dan.
Bless.
Is that a war movie, Forrest Gump?
That's what I'm saying. It's an I Was There movie, so they slip it in because it's a very big part of it. But I didn't know that, so I felt safe going in.
I love Saving Private Ryan. That's probably the war movie I've seen, the only one I've seen more than 1.5 or 2 times.
That's another one where friends of mine were like, you can't handle that, don't see it.
Oh, absolutely. If you're affected by something like Good Morning Vietnam, I would say the hyper-realism, especially of the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan,
but I feel
would be upsetting.
I feel like it does it in a way, though, that you feel not necessarily good by the end, but it does I think it addresses war in the most digestible way for human beings to watch.
But after the realistic D-Day Normandy storming. But it's like I'm just saying the visuals of the beginning of it.
Now that we're talking about this, I'm realizing that I think, and this won't surprise anyone, but I feel like the further back in history you go, the more war movies I've seen.
Oh, wow.
About do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I've seen almost no. Wait, have I? No.
Mel Gibson, yeah.
I've certainly seen Braveheart.
There we go.
To make my point. Back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm thinking I've certainly seen the fewest Vietnam movies.
Okay.
I've seen, and I guess there aren't like a ton of Korean War movies, and then I've seen like a handful, like I've seen a lot of World War II movies, but not a ton. But I feel like I've seen like more World War I movies, or I've allowed myself to. And then when you go all the way, because that one movie, whose movie was it? I think it was 1918? 1917?
Sam Mendes.
The one with like the effect, that cinematic effect of the bomb.
Movie.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater and I like started to stand up in the sequence of the bomb drop at night with like whatever what's a phosphorus, whatever that effect was. I was like, I've never seen anything like this in my life.
That's awesome.
The movie was upsetting to me and I was like, I don't need to see this again. But I keep going back to that moment and the shock and awe, not uneclipse like.
Yeah.
And I was like, was that really what it looked like? Like, oh my God.
And that is
did a great job.
That was a lot of people's last movie before COVID. Because I think it came out at the very end of 2019.
Yeah.
But that was the last thing I saw in theaters. And I was like,
God,
oh man, for like 2.5 years,
I
that
saw.
was the last time I was in a movie theater.
That's probably
That is
what
crazy,
I saw.
yeah.
I did really like that movie. We actually, didn't we just talk about that on the last episode, Jake?
Did you
with
really?
The,
17?
one of my least favorite things that a movie does is reveal a very famous person very late into the movie. And in a spoiler for 1917, when they finally make it to deliver the plans, the person in charge is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm actually taken out of the movie now.
Right.
Like there's like maybe
Yes.
10 or 15 people that would, because like if you got to the end of the movie and Tom Cruise dramatically turned around, you'd be
like a Wizard
what
of
are we
Oz
doing?
situation.
100%.
I don't need him here. Like he wasn't billed. It wasn't like they were using him to get eyes on the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's as good at acting as anyone. There's nothing against it, but I'm just like, I'm
like
sorry.
I have the exact same response.
What
I
about
totally
like
get that.
William Hurt in History of Violence? That's such a fun one.
Not enough. It's not dramatic. He's not. You know what I mean? It's not the same. Benedict Cumberbatch is so famous and kind of a corny guy, and was Doctor Strange then on everything, and Sherlock at the he was really, really, really famous and on everything. It's I don't know if Marvel ruined it. Or what it is, because he's in so many things, and I really like him in Marvel stuff. And I think he's
do
good,
too.
But, it's like if Robert Downey Jr. turned the same feeling I had was in Oppenheimer, which I loved.
Yeah.
When they reveal that the senator that's grilling Robert Downey Jr. is John F. Kennedy. This is at the very end.
Yeah.
But it's like in a way where he's like, and you're going to listen to me, or my name isn't Senator John F. Kennedy. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I'm not. What do you want me to get? I'm not going to get emotionally attached to this guy.
In the shoulder, like, hey.
I feel like it would have been a great opportunity for a titular line there. It's like just like he would have just delivered it, just a close up of like Mr. Oppenheimer,
exactly, in like the Mr. Oppenheimer, like sounding like Mayor Quimby impression of it. And I was just like, people in the theater laughed, because I'm like, I think is Christopher Nolan making a life cinematic universe that he needs to like tie together with a post-credit scene where John F. Kennedy like walks in, he's like, we should go to Dallas, or like some, you know what I mean? You're like, come on, man.
That was a weird moment.
Sometimes like that with when movies try and do. I didn't know what that was for. Was that for the trailer? I bet it looked good on paper.
I feel like that whole movie was for the trailer.
Yeah.
It was like a 3-hour trailer.
You might be right.
But I had a hard time watching someone portray Albert Einstein. As good as I thought the movie was, I'm like, it's no one's fault that Einstein is kind of fake to us now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's not, well, you said it about Kennedy too. It's like, when you see the original, but it's been parodied so many times, unfortunately, like the least believable version is the actual one.
It's like if you watch The Matrix for the first time today. And
you're
like watching the fighting and stuff, and you're like, what are you?
You'd be like, this is so.
You're like, no, they invented this.
This is the coolest thing ever. You don't get it.
I mean, isn't that the task of every film professor? Going back to that, like every film professor's onus becomes like, I know I'm talking to a bunch of young people who have seen all of the iterations, and I'm the one that's supposed to like make you appreciate the original. Like,
well, that's their job, right? That's like give it context, and I feel like that's like in a weird way like justifying why you're making somebody watch something. You know what I mean? Like if you can't do that as a film professor, you shouldn't be.
Their job is to wedge in what they would have done better.
That's right.
Here's how I would have.
Or the movie that they made for 35 years earlier, or something like that.
Yes. Oh yes.
Oh, we hit a real groove here on pages 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this was not intentional. It just is what happened. I'm so sorry.
That's what I do whenever I do the show. I always it's lots of
you'll
stage
see
direction.
why. I mean, you'll see why it went down the way it did.
Do you want to cast the other characters in particular?
I mean, listen, there's a couple of guys in here. You guys want to
Todd,
trade
you
off?
want to be odd guys? I'll be even
guy
guys.
number 4 is, I guess, the most is maybe someone we stay with for more of the movie. And yeah, but I mean, if you guys just want to trade back and forth,
okay.
We use back and forth.
Again, you will not have that much you need to worry about for almost all of this, and I did not do that on purpose.
Hell yeah.
When a writer's working, you just
you let it go.
You let it go.
You follow the thread.
Follow the muse.
Hell yeah.
And this is where it went. Did not know what I was doing when I started. It was happening in real time as I was writing.
I'm so excited.
That's the best.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Apocalypse Now by Janet Varney. Exterior leafy area day. 4 white guys, ages spanning early 30s to 40s, in army fatigues are squatting on the ground, playing cards, smoking cigars, passing around a bottle of whiskey, chewing and spitting tobacco, rubbing their face stubble, sweating, swatting at flies, looking at porn mags, and jingling their dog tags.
Hell yeah.
You want to be 1 and 3?
I fold.
I fold.
I call.
You son of a bitch.
The men stare daggers at each other, silent. Before they can do anything else, a young boy who looks like Dennis the Menace, which basically means any blonde, preppy white kid from the suburbs in the mid to late 1960s, comes through the bushes.
You can do it.
Father, Mother says to tell you dinner's ready.
Sorry, gents. Guess we'll have to pick this up next week.
The other men grumble good-naturedly as the guy and his son head back out the way the kid came in. So we're just in 1960s suburbia at this point. Interior 1960s living room evening. Guy number 4, who we'll call Frank, the boy who we'll call Dennis, and a woman, Margaret, sit in front of their television eating dinner on TV trays. There's an Ed Sullivan-like show on featuring some mop-top band.
Wait. I just want to point out, that was a sick reveal, so we're not even in Vietnam.
No, that's just what these guys do.
Dude, this is brilliant.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
This is fucking awesome.
Hold your applause.
Hell yeah.
You're really going to want to hold, if not withdraw, your applause.
Even just because the solid state drive we're recording this on has limited space.
Yeah, but that, by the way, when you were talking about the Naked Gun thing, I was like, oh no, this is so naked. It's so Naked Gun to have all of these guys. Like, what are all the things I've seen in any war movie reference that soldiers do, and then just make it be like they're trying to relive that, I guess? I don't know. Okay, so that evening, they're in the living room. There's this Ed Sullivan show on. There's a band, and Frank responds.
Damn hippies.
Oh, Frank.
And then the little kid, which is the same as the boy.
Why, I think I'd like to learn to play drums and be in a rock and roll band.
Frank violently sweeps his hand across the tray and his dinner goes everywhere. He stands up, hurling the tray, which separates it from its little standing legs. As he tries to storm off, his feet and legs tangle up with the legs of the TV tray, and he pitches forward, landing on his hands and knees, breathing heavily.
Oh, Frank.
Dennis Dennis the kid carefully moves his own TV tray aside and goes to crouch near his dad, who by now has curled into the fetal position and is sobbing.
Don't cry, Father. Please don't cry.
I'm sorry, differentiating the kid and Margaret is impossible for me right now. Just because Todd, the line reads are so funny.
I'll do what I can.
Sorry, okay. Just not the drums, son. Anything but the drums.
He looks up and off into the distance, and it's clear his mind has gone to a different, more troubling time. Fade to flashback. Exterior, unidentified jungle, night, flashback. A group of American soldiers creeps through the jungle setting. Camera POV brings each creeping soldier's face into the frame, filling it before it passes camera as the line of guys approaches. It's giving us a couple of seconds to linger on each soldier's sweaty, dirty face. Everyone's expression is a bit different from the last. Some are grim, some seem more afraid, some seem almost lost in a daze, but all of them seem on the brink of snapping. Finally, Frank's face is the one filling the frame, and he's wild-eyed, muttering, "Where are they?" soundlessly to himself, over and over. A mosquito lands on his face, and he slaps it. A smear of blood streaks his cheek.
Yes.
The sequence of soldiers passing the camera seems to go on forever. Every time you think there can't be any more guys, there's another guy. When the final man, at long last, crosses past, camera swivels and follows the soldiers through the jungle. Presently, the sound of drums can be heard. The soldiers do that thing where a couple of them do a bunch of hand gestures and the rest of them nod knowingly and peel off as they all begin to reach a clearing. The drums are getting louder and louder. Great. We're with Frank, who hunkers down behind a tree. He's clearly terrified, but he's also trying to get a look at what's happening in the clearing, where we can now make out the flickering of torches. But he needs to stay hidden. and there's sweat running into his eyes, making it harder to see in the already dark night. Now we're Frank's POV, seeing blurrily through the sweat. We're also hearing Frank's heavy breathing as he tries to slow it down and control his terror so that he doesn't give himself away. From his perspective, we hear the drums almost deafeningly.
This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, this rules. I can't even pay attention to the drums. I'm having too good of a time.
I love you guys.
Tight.
We're all getting married. Okay. Exterior clearing flashback continuous. We can now see that two large, crudely made drums are sitting a few feet apart from each other in the clearing. Behind each, playing the drum, is a man. The men's bodies are clad in palm fronds and various leaves and vines. It seems like nearly every inch of them is elaborately covered except their faces and hands, which themselves are decorated with colorful paint. We cut back and forth from the drummers to Frank's reaction as the drums slow build to a fever pitch. Then the bushes behind and to the left of the drummers part dramatically by hands unseen. On Frank, whose eyes widen in fear as the leaves part. The drums hammer. From the darkness emerge two beautiful white women, aged 20 to 30s, also dressed in leaves, who sprinkle flower petals in front and behind themselves as they walk side by side. Finally, they stop, flanking what we can now make out to be a sort of high chair, which looks to be made of coconut shells held together with woven grasses. Frank is riveted, his look of terror mixed now with a sort of hypnotized glaze as he stares at the scene in front of him. Suddenly, the women begin to ululate at a superhumanly loud volume.
What is ululate?
It's like,
oh, yeah, hell yeah, dude. Indiana Jones heart pull style.
Yeah, exactly. The drums are louder and faster. The women's eyes go to the opening from whence they came. Frank's eyes follow. The screaming, hooting, and drums are madness now. Madness! From the darkness emerges a doughy white man in his mid-40s, early 50s. Hard to tell because his face doesn't seem that old, but his shock of white hair suggests otherwise. He's pale and chubby. The man wears dirty, rumpled whitish pants and is pot-bellied, shirtless, though he's holding a dirty shawl in the air behind him as if it's a cape he has just untied. On his head, perched back and at a slightly rakish angle, is a black captain's hat. Close up on Frank's eyes and their look of horror. Cut to close up of the man's eyes, which dance with lunacy. This guy looks nuts. He swaggers to the makeshift throne in time to the drums, which have slowed a bit upon his arrival. He reaches the throne and sits down self-importantly. He looks expectant. The drumming continues for a while. We occasionally cut back to Frank as he waits anxiously to see what's coming next. Nothing happens. Gradually, the drumming dies down, then stops. Everyone looks at the man in the captain's hat nervously. Now his eyes are filled with an almost gleeful rage. Then he hisses.
Lovey?
The women flanking him drop to their knees and genuflect, terrified. Suddenly, a pretty older woman, blonde and improbably clad in a roughly pink satin dress and matching wide-brim hat, walks quickly but pristinely out of that same opening in the foliage. She's carrying a purse-sized object that, to Frank's repulsion, turns out to be the carcass of a small wild pig.
Nice.
When she reaches the man, she holds the carcass over his stomach, pulls out a metal nail file, and turns her head away while she slits open the belly of the pig so that blood spills across the man's chest and stomach. Frank stifles a gag, desperate not to retch. The man's rage becomes evil joy as he rubs the pig's blood onto his torso. The drummers hesitantly begin to drum again. The man slowly rises out of his throne, and the genuflecting women rise as well. But the return of the drums proves too much for poor Frank. He turns his back to the tableau and creeps slowly away, his pace increasing to a crazed run as he gets further away. He's sobbing. Exterior unidentified jungle flashback continuous. Still recklessly racing through the dark, Frank trips on a vine and falls violently to the ground. Two fellow soldiers appear from somewhere and crouch down to the sobbing, babbling man.
It's all true, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. It's all true. Oh, fuck, oh, Jesus, oh, God, oh, hell, sweet child, Jesus.
We cut back to exterior clearing, flashback continuous. Okay, sure, this is technically Frank's flashback and he's not here anymore, but whatever. The man looks at the terrified people around him. He casually bends over his throne to pick something up. It's the skull of what must have been a thin, goofy-looking man. The fat man turns back to the people.
You know whose turn it is.
No one will even meet his eye.
Ginger? Professor?
The red-headed woman and one of the drummers react.
Let's fuck.
Then he says to the skull.
And you get to watch, little buddy.
Apocalypse Now.
I'm going to need a PDF of that in my inbox. That was awesome. That was fucking awesome.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
we call it a Francis Ford coping mechanism.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks guys.
I love
this. Very fun.
Does anybody else, whenever you read like a 1950s, 1960s like angry dad, I just picture the dad from the Wonder Years. That guy is like forever.
Dan Lauria.
He's
Why do I know his name?
Yeah. I actually did too, and I didn't want to do that, but yeah, fucking right. Fucking right,
both
man.
of us, buddy.
He's a really good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's very, like, stout.
Yeah,
and
the square hair, the, like, seething, face. Like, what are you so angry about? Yeah. Like, I'm afraid of you.
You can tell he doesn't want to be that angry, but he can't help it.
It's a little bit like a Lego that works out.
He does kind of look like a Lego that works out.
He does look like a Lego.
I mean, that is such a good dad portrayal.
Yeah. One of the best.
Well, I think probably nailed it.
Great. So that's what it's like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Hit it on the head for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I don't even know what Charlie Sheen is in it. Isn't he the Sheen is in it? Or is it Martin Sheen that's in it?
Yeah,
this is too old for Charlie Sheen.
But I don't know who is he.
Brando is.
It is Brando.
Is the
okay, that's kind of why
Colonel
I went. I mean, I was imagining Brando, and as I was imagining describing Brando in my mind, I was like, he kind of sounds like the skipper from Gilligan's Island. I was like, wait a minute,
he would love that.
I feel like Island of Dr. Moreau era Brando kind of is basically that. That
right?
Is where, yeah, that's really interesting. That's true.
All that was left out was that they had to hide the lines around the jungle for him to pick up and read when it was his turn to deliver a line.
That's right. Everything was on the back of a palm frond.
Yes.
They had to keep adding foliage to the scene.
Yes.
Oh.
Acting.
Yeah. That's what we are.
Where you almost devote time to it beforehand.
The thing that sucks about finding that out about Brando is that I feel like now I'm more inclined to worry or wonder if someone is reading lines, if they're just making a choice to kind of look off the screen.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely a couple of things. I was watching something. I was rewatching with some people who've seen it and some people who've never seen it, the original Twin Peaks series. And there's like a scene where Lara Flynn Boyle is talking to Laura Palmer's grave, but she's looking off in another direction. And I was like,
almost like on SNL when you can tell the cue card is happening.
Exactly. I was like, is that a choice or is she
that?
having to read her like I really and I feel like the Brando thing. Now that you're saying it, the SNL thing kind of maybe that implanted that idea also. But I think the Brando thing like changed my idea of like what an actor's responsibility was and and what the chances were that a bunch of people are just like just hold that up. Yeah.
I can
I wonder where the line of your quality is where they let you get away with it.
That's a good question.
You see like, well, how good do you have to be to where we don't care about this baggage coming along?
How old are you and how much have you already shot?
Yeah, that's a
how committed
that's a bigger piece of it than you think.
Not going to replace him now.
Like the practicality of it all. Yeah. We're pretty committed to Brando in here, so we'll let him read paper while rolling.
Yeah.
He would have loved Zoom acting.
Oh, absolutely.
My God, he would have loved it.
This
right
guy
off
could
to the
just
side
keep
of the lens. Are you kidding me?
Right behind over here. Get him a little teleprompter.
What year was it when we all decided that it's okay for people on SNL to not have to memorize lines? Like when we were kids growing up, they didn't do that. And it's so weird to me now that that's just normal.
Right. I mean, did they all? I mean, didn't they always kind of have cue cards just in case?
Yeah, but like they weren't looking off screen. Yeah, no, they memorized their lines.
Nobody wanted to be the one who was like visibly turning away to like read whatever.
And they all do it.
I feel like the further you are from acting, the more forgiving I am of you. Like Charles Barkley, I don't mind if he's reading a cue card on set.
I'm fine with the guests.
You're talking about the actors
themselves? The guest is totally fine. The cast, it's unacceptable.
I don't know.
Full disclosure, I haven't watched that show in so many years.
I can't watch it for that reason. It's just like, I don't want to watch you just reading cue cards. Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
It's live. Like, it's not live. If you're
like, did something change about the schedule? Like, what would cause it to be that there's
at least it's keeping the handwritten cue card.
That's
business.
true. Hey, that's true.
That's a good union rep.
That is a great union rep. And you're gonna have to use this brand Sharpie.
I feel like the handwritten cue card union is also overseen by courtroom sketch artists union. Like that's the same very
courtroom sketch artists. What a wild
when
disparity
they find out about cameras.
There's like you see some that you're like, it really kind of looks like him, and that like you really infused a lot of like drama and pathos into this, and then you see some where you're like, I'm sorry, this person is getting paid to do what?
All of the bad ones look like Trump.
Yeah,
the Tom Brady courtroom sketch I remember seeing he makes him look exactly like Donald Trump. I feel like if you just really quickly paint hair, it looks like his real hair.
That is categorically true.
Yeah.
So that's
True.
not that person's fault.
Yeah.
But I do feel like you do see courtroom sketches where you're like, this person hates people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you hate the idea of human people.
This would manipulate the
jury. You want to
jury.
make everyone look bloated, angry, tired, awful.
I would never want to see myself painted that. It's almost like it's a version of the caricature artists on like Santa Monica Pier or something, where you're like, you're really getting my worst parts in oil. Why is this even in here?
You're hoping for paint me like your French girls, and that's what you're getting instead is the caricature thing for sure.
100%. Yeah.
Well, all right, we're gonna take another quick break, and we got some games.
Almost 45 minutes.
Thanks for putting up with that.
I loved
that. Was awesome.
All that stage.
That was awesome.
I loved it.
That was great. And you said exterior, which I'm not, this is where I'm going to come off as like the asshole filmmaker, writer guy, but like, I feel like every time I've been on this show, the other person like, external, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
oh, no,
I just want to be like, dude, no.
Well, to be fair, they're doing Magic School Bus. So there's a lot of internal shots.
Inner space.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's probably where that was coming from.
Classic,
that's all that was.
Yeah.
I don't know what I say. I mean, we've had someone say external a horse before.
Yeah.
Which I think is an all-time stage direction.
That's, proper,
that's exterior and interior at the same time. If it's the Revenant, external and internal a bear.
True. Very true.
What else? What is it? Is there any? What is the famous line? Is this napalm smells like napalm in the morning?
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Is that this? I thought that was Dr. Strangelove, so I don't know anything.
No, that's Duvall. That's.
Well,
this.
what are the other big lines from this movie?
There are a few. I feel like the big thing for me, I just think of like CCR blaring out of like an attack chopper.
I almost put that. When they were in the jungle, or when they were playing.
But
cards, I was like, I should have some kind of transistor radio where you're hearing like very iconic 60s music.
Absolutely.
And then that just didn't make
CCR
it in.
in particular, they're also in Good Morning Vietnam. They're also in Full Metal Jacket.
It's the Vietnam band.
It is, and then everyone listens and they're like, they don't get that it's anti-war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is an anti-war movie.
Yeah. Well, that's why they did.
As most of them are.
That's why they all are. Yeah. Exactly right.
And then you'll occasionally see like I'm brandishing the American flag on the 4th of July playing CCR.
God,
and you're like, they don't
Same
like
with
this.
Born in the USA.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
No one understands satire or irony. And we thought that we were just discovering that when Twitter happened. But it's like, no, that's always been true. It's always been true that people don't get it.
I really want to know what the other big, I feel like there's another big line from this movie that I'm not remembering.
Yeah, there is.
You're not, if you haven't seen the movie,
right?
It's really
I'm trying to think
of
like
Todd.
What Brando's most iconic lines are from there. I can't think of any.
Is there something where they just scream like Kurtz?
The horror.
Or something
it's
like
the horror. That's like a very, very
satirized.
It's so funny. I'm like, they're from The Simpsons.
I mean, that is we're all of that age where that's the introduction.
Of course,
for
that's
so
what
many
it
things.
is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's probably like the biggest line.
The horror, which, God, I feel like that might be in the book.
Yeah,
like that seems
sense.
like a line from a book that like they make sure to tuck in.
It looked good on
the
paper
movie,
there,
right? Yeah, because the book is not about Vietnam, if memory serves. It's written a long time before Vietnam. If memory serves.
I don't know. This just feels like I still am very sure I've seen this, but also don't think I've seen any of it. Does he raise up out of the river at some point?
Yeah.
And that's like the shot maybe.
Yeah.
Is Brando large in this?
He's large and in charge.
Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that clip. I mean, I have an image. You saw, like, I have an idea of like people playing drums and him being a god
There's
and
maybe
sitting in a throne and like. Yeah. But I can't tell if I've seen that piece or I'm just remembering having had to read that, but I don't know.
Maybe my favorite part of this is knowing everyone is listening and just being like, how can we misremember this more confidently? Well, we have 7 pages of exposition, and I just want to be like, I want to get it wrong and be like, this is the one where Robin Williams is a genie, right?
Oh, no. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Sheen's. Are they related to Coppola? Where are these families? No, Nick Cage is a Coppola. I know
Nick
this.
Cage is a Coppola.
And the Coppolas have sort of branched
Schwartzman
out.
Is a Coppola.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Jason Schwartzman?
I had no idea.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah. I really didn't know that. I thought he was just always
yeah.
in the center of frame. I literally thought he was related to Wes Anderson, how in the center of frames he stands.
Well, I mean, Roman Coppola has a close
touche.
association with Wes Anderson.
Very much so.
There's 30 people.
Yeah, they got a clan. They got a clan for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Sheens, Estevez is Sheen.
Yeah,
Estevez.
Which is such
I think it's just Charlie, Emilio, and
that's
and
it, right?
Dad.
Is
right?
Emilio his real first name?
Oh,
I think his
Emilio
I think
Sheen.
I think he kept his
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Right, like he didn't change.
There's
his
no way
name?
to know.
Yeah, there's no
just
way.
so you guys know, there's a computer on the
Martin
table.
Sheen-
But who wanted? Sometimes it's kind of fun to not know. You know what I mean?
It is.
I like how different Sheen and Estevez are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I mean, that's a thing I've looked up more than once, but it is not a factoid that has stayed in my brain.
That's a Wikipedia
clearly.
page that gets wiped.
Where I'm like,
quickly,
okay, is that his mom's maiden name, or is it they changed? They all have Estevez, but they changed it to Sheen because they but then he didn't for some reason.
Yeah,
they're
that's
the
it. It got
Estevez
you.
stage surname Sheen.
Help me.
Francisco and Marianne Estevez gave birth to Martin, who gave birth to Emilio.
He gave birth.
Yeah.
Who was married to Paula Abdul?
I remember.
Why wouldn't you
kind
be?
of
Paula
remember
Sheen.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
been
Honestly, they all should have taken Abdul. Now that I'm looking at this,
Yeah.
Denise Richards was married to Charlie Sheen. These are all things that I totally forgot.
yeah.
I forgot about.
She was there
that
for the
was a
whole
big deal.
Tiger Blood thing. Yeah, she was
Yeah,
like the
wasn't
last like
she-
normal person married to him. I feel like.
And then did he?
Oh, that's
'Cause
right.
then he did like hookers and got AIDS and
The
Tiger Blood.
The winning time.
Yes.
Winning.
What an
when
era.
was that? Because that feels very much like that
was
year.
that? That could have been 30 years ago or
It
4
could have
years
been
ago.
4 years ago. I
Yeah,
know.
that's crazy to think about.
It doesn't
Ew,
because
what
he
is
got
this, the early-
roasted.
He got roasted, yeah.
What?
We were at that roast, I think. I think me and Alex, no, we were at, me and Alex were at that roast.
You were?
We had sold a show to Comedy Central
Oh
right
my
before
God.
that. And they let us go to that roast because like they do the thing where they cut to like people who were our show was supposed to go straight to
2011.
series.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, what a time!
2011.
2011.
That was
Okay.
the era of Tiger Blood and winning.
We-
yeah, because I feel like the roast was 2013. I want to say.
Did we not know drugs were bad then? I don't know what. It feels so odd. We let him. He was clearly spiraling
Yeah.
in such an insane way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of
we'll
else
let
going on in
everybody
the
go
tabloid,
all
yeah.
the way up to
But I remember
the
everyone
edge,
thought it
if
was
not
cool.
over it.
A lot of people were like,
Yeah.
buying Tiger Blood shirts.
It was a little
and
celebratory for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
That feels
I
like
mean,
it. Yeah.
But like speaking of Tiger Blood, like I feel like the Joe Tiger.
Tiger King.
Tiger
Thank
King.
you.
Yeah.
That's like his name.
What
It's
is
not.
his-
I
Joe
know it's not
Tiger?
called Joe
Yeah,
Tiger.
Tiger.
I know it's not
Exotic.
called Joe Tiger.
Joe Exotic.
Joe
Yeah,
Exotic.
yeah.
Joe Exotic. I mean, there's a little of that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we love a freak.
We love a freak. I think
We
we
love
also
a person who's maybe not well, but
Yeah.
we don't want him to not be well. We just want him to be a freak and
Yeah.
crazy by choice.
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and distant
Yeah.
from us.
And distant
Yeah.
from us. Yeah.
Yeah.
we want to like vacation in someone's mental breakdown.
I think we all
Exactly.
like to
Exactly.
just seeing somebody not give a fuck. We all want that to some extent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think everybody has a little bit of in that.
I
in
think
them.
half the country does.
Yeah.
And
It's like, these guys
and
don't
they
give a
made a
shit.
very strong choice based on that.
They let everyone
desire.
write down whether or not they did a couple of times
Yeah.
in recent memory,
Yes,
actually,
they
and
do.
they continue to let them write it down,
Yeah.
even at like school board votes
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
You know?
But Q is real. I think we all have to agree.
As long as we all.
Yeah.
I'm just trying
That's
to
the place we come home
snag
to.
the SEO.
We come
Yeah,
home
get that Q
to.
drop, dude.
Yeah.
Get sick Q drop.
This is Never Seen It sponsored by 8chan. Thank you,
Dude,
everyone.
you should
No.
drop a Q drop in every episode, man. They'll all listen. Do it at the end.
Even
I guess they can fast forward.
We were talking. It's
Probably
weird
not.
to come in this full, but we were talking about like you can't change a conspiracy theorist mind.
Oh, yeah.
That QAnon documentary that came out on HBO, where the guy admits that he made it all
I
up and it
know.
was him at
Oh,
the
yeah.
end, and
I
then Q
know.
people are like, nah, probably
It's
not.
not him. He's
No,
a plant.
no,
It's
yeah.
not. That's not real.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
no, I run it, and I'm the one who did the stuff,
Yeah.
Doesn't
basically.
matter.
And everyone's like, nah, it
Doesn't matter.
It's got to be one of the dead Kennedys makes more sense.
It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't bother.
No one needs their own little plane.
No. No.
That was
No
more for the
one
Kennedys.
needs it.
No one needs it. No one
And
needs it.
every like iconic music artist of a certain era.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they just kept getting.
We wouldn't have
in
got that
planes.
9-minute song about driving your Chevy to the levee if it wasn't for a bad airplane, though.
Yeah.
So, can we separate the art from the artist? It depends if the artist is splattered on the ground by a plane.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it means.
Yep.
I
Yep.
guess that's what that song's about.
Yep.
Okay. Game time. Game time.
Right.
I got to use the microphone more. People say every time you get in the games, you stop using the microphone. So I got to get into
What's
the
that
games
about?
here.
Let's study
Game
that for a
Boy.
second.
I think it's
Your
because I
Game
start
Boys,
reading
dude.
off my
Let's get
computer.
into the psychology.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sure it's something deeper and more emotional
no,
than that.
Yeah.
This is where your imposter syndrome
Is
really
your mom
kicks
a
in.
microphone?
Yeah.
Has she been a microphone? This is I recently photoshopped this for the Eclipse, everybody. There's me as, Bonnie Kyle.
That's
yeah.
wonderful. God, is that her real hair?
That's the actual album cover
Yeah.
and everything. That was my hair then. when that was taken.
Oh, it was a different time.
Hell yeah.
First game. The first game we're going to play here today, I'm going to hide the answers here. This game is called Before, and I felt myself get away from the microphone again.
It's so
I
tempting.
kind of did on my own too there.
You do it all the time.
Yeah.
I think
I'm really bad with it.
Before and Afters. This game is called Before and Afters.
To play Before and Afters.
How this game works is 2 movies have been smashed together into one movie. I will read you both the smashed together plot. You have to tell me the smashed together title. For instance, over here, you can see we have A Few Good Omen.
Oh, yeah.
So we can expect punny.
Very punny.
Very
Some,
punny.
for that.
Very
Thank
funny.
God for
none
that.
as good as that one.
That's pretty good one. That's pretty good.
Only
Most
down
of the time,
from here?
the examples are so much better than any of the actual ones on the show. We're about 2,000 in at this point, so we're running out of...
My aim is to make sure... Oh, wait. I don't have control of this. You've already decided what the...
Yeah.
I was like, we can come up with some...
We-
that's not what
Apocalypse,
this
Now
is.
You See Me.
Reverse
We're not
Before and
supposed to be like
no.
brainstorming or
There's got to be
troubleshooting
more
on this.
Apocalypse Now You See Me. There's got to be Apocalypto Now would be
Oh,
another
yeah.
one.
Apocalypse
Yeah.
now. Almost
Yeah.
too close.
Almost too close. I liked Apocalypto.
I've never seen it.
I never
You watch
seen
a
it.
whole
couldn't
movie.
see it for a long time.
That's right.
You ever
It
see
was
a
like-
really weird reveal? Like, I watched the whole movie, and then it was, like, directed by Mel Gibson. I was like, nah, it wasn't.
I didn't believe the
Now
movie.
who's,
I was like, this
who's
is
seeing what it's
I was
like
like,
to
is
find
that
out who
the real-
Q is.
Yeah, dude, that was the original Q drop, dude. That's the original Q drop,
That's
dude.
the original.
I don't want to spoil the end of Apocalypto or anything, but then that hit, and that was like a second reveal. And people in the theaters were like, huh?
How did you? I can't believe you went in not knowing, because
Yeah,
the
that's
only thing I knew was
Literally
like
the only thing I
Mel
knew about it,
Gibson
yeah.
directed this movie that
And he
has
had that
no English in
awesome
it.
prank in the trailer. There's like a frame. There was a frame of him in the trailer.
Really?
Just like mean mugging the camera with all the guys in the Mayan gear.
I couldn't believe Mel Gibson would be around people not speaking English that long.
That is a
Understood.
great
Without
point.
getting
It's a
upset.
very great point.
Correct.
Yeah,
So-
by choice. He chose to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's crazy.
maybe it instigated the voicemail.
Might have.
We're just cool with him, right? He's just
God.
back around. It's crazy.
I recently put him on a casting list, and it got shot down very quickly by
Okay, so
every
it's a
single
half and
agent on the
half.
call, and I was impressed. I was thankful
Yeah.
and impressed, but also probably was like, all right, I guess I'm not going to be the guy who engineers the
Yeah.
Mel comeback. That's all right.
Yeah.
No, he's engineering it on his own
Yeah.
just
He's
by
fi- no,
showing
he's
up.
fine.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I keep feeling like I keep seeing him show up in movies and stuff.
This is a
Yeah.
pretty small movie, and people are like, yeah, we're not doing that.
The Patriot
Yeah.
2.
I wish I was directing the Patriot.
Comma
too.
TOO.
That would be phenomenal.
The Patriot also.
Yes. Yes.
You haven't seen The Patriot 2 Fast 2 Patriot?
That's a good one. That's a
Step
good
up
one.
to the Patriot. I think we understand. The Wolf of Wall Street, that's a common one that
Right.
is an example. Once
Right.
again, none of them are as good at that. They're all haphazardly thrown together. They get a
Okay.
little... I started easier, and then we got some tough ones today.
Okay. All right.
Number 1. A cheerleading squad accused of stealing their routines is transported into the digital world where they must face off against a computerized likeness.
Oh my God. First of all,
Bring it.
bring it Tron.
Bring it.
Bring it, Tron!
Nicely.
That's teamwork right there.
No, you get that point.
I couldn't
for
remember
sure.
what I was like. shit. What's
No, you
the
got
cheer
that.
movie?
You got that.
But
That was
I
you.
have
That was
a
impressive.
deep and abiding love for the 1981 movie Tron. I should know before
Ooh.
I say.
No, that works. That works.
1981.
4 points for Janet, 1 for Tom.
I feel like that's a movie that my introduction to that movie was The Simpsons. That's like
Tron?
yeah, that was like
That's a
one
Treehouse of Horrors
one
episode?
of the best Simpsons episodes of all time. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, because the animation changes and you freak
Yeah,
out.
That's
like,
right.
what
They
is
go
happening
3D.
right now?
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
I think my
And none
Zanga
of them have
picture
seen
was
it.
that picture of Homer for a little while.
Oh,
where he's
yeah.
3D
Sure.
and Tronny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was almost nightmarish,
Yeah, it kind of was.
but good.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Number
right.
2. We're really going to get the kids in this. Keep talking about Zanga and Tron.
That's right. Yeah.
Next one. An attorney's kid makes a wish that forces him to tell the truth for 24 hours, and now the attorney's daughter, an 11-year-old, contemplates life, friendship, and more with her mother and grandmother.
Okay. Can we talk about it out
yeah,
loud
yeah,
with
yeah,
each other?
yeah.
So liar, liar.
Yeah, but I don't know what that second one
The
is.
second one contemplates life with her mom and her grandmother.
Is that Steel Magnolia or not Steel Magnolias? It's
What's that one where they
Yeah.
all play? There's like a young version and an
yeah.
old version.
Well, it's not
No.
Now and Then.
Oh no, that's what I was thinking.
Love
of.
me some Now and Then.
Now and Then.
Love me
Yeah.
some Now and Then. Yeah. What
There's
is
also a
the,
movie similar that came out around the same time called How to Make an American Quilt. Pretty sure it's not that.
Touche.
Pretty sure it's not that.
Liar.
Liar, lie.
Is there a
Liar.
like
Liar, flyer.
Yeah, what else has liar in it? I feel like
when people are talking through these, it feels like everyone's having a stroke.
I really am.
Flyer,
out of context.
Help me. I
Live.
am having a stroke. Help me.
Applesauce is dribbling out of our mouths.
Is there a sisterhood of traveling yaya pants? Is that a thing that they do in that? Do they lie in that? It's got to have liar in the title or something.
Do they lie in that?
I'm sure they do, man. Everyone's a
Todd,
fucking
everyone
liar
lies.
nowadays. Yeah,
Everyone
everyone's a
lies.
goddamn liar.
Do two of them trick me into
Even the-
mini golfing
yeah.
with them at the same
Even
time?
the pants lie. Even the pants lie.
Liar, liar, traveling pants on fire.
Liar. Is it a recent? Can we ask questions?
The movies are pretty recent.
The movies, okay. Well,
What's-
Liar is not recent. So
what's
the movie
that,
with the sister, with the kid, the girl,
Where
the
she
mom,
jumps out of the car. Freaking
Miss Sunshine.
No, the girl. Oh my God, I can't think of the name of that movie.
She jumps out of the car. Is all
one's
you're
tough.
giving me?
Not Lady Bird.
Yeah, not Lady.
You're thinking of Lady
I was thinking
Bird.
Liar, Liar, Lady Bird. That doesn't do
Liar,
anything. That doesn't
Liar,
make any
Bird.
sense.
Liar der bird.
Lighter bird.
Awful.
It's a cheese. It's a cheese.
That's all it can be. That's all it can be.
All right, we're looking for Liar, Liar, Are You There, God? It's me, Margaret.
I
liar.
wouldn't
It's
I
a tough
wouldn't have
one.
described the movie
It's a hard
way.
way to
That's all I'm
describe it.
saying.
And I also haven't seen it, so I had to go off the description online.
Understood.
But I think
I don't feel too bad about
I
it.
found movies with like generational framing devices are tough to describe.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even if you were like based on an icon, but then it would be too easy, I guess. If
Yeah.
you're like
Right, if I
based on
brought
an
up Judy
iconic
Blume.
book, that would be too easy.
Shout out Judy Blume.
Now we're
Shout
really
out,
getting
major
the kids.
shout out.
Please come
Yeah.
on.
Young people love Judy Blume.
Do they really?
I did, yeah.
Hell
I watched
yeah.
a documentary, and there's still little kids who come in and have her sign.
Oh, I love that.
Her books.
I
Yeah,
love
like
that.
she owns a bookstore now. It's very cute.
Oh,
That's
that
phenomenal.
rules.
That does
It's a
rule.
great
Yeah.
documentary. It's real feel good if you want to
Nice.
see some cute.
I do.
Great.
You never know.
Yeah, when you get into it. You don't know if you're getting Michael Jackson or if it's going to be
I
Judy
know,
Blume.
yeah.
Judy Blume, famed turf, Judy
Yeah,
Blume, or
don't
like something
worry.
is gonna like,
Don't
like, please
even
just
worry
be great
about it.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's adorable.
Oh man, please R.L. Stein. I don't know what's up with R.L. Stein these
Me
days.
neither.
Next one. A lobbyist for big tobacco struggles to remain a good role model for his son, and if he wants to be king and speak authoritatively, he will have to overcome his speech impediment.
Okay, well, the King's Speech.
Yeah, the King's Speech. And
The King's
not The Informant.
Speech.
Not
What's
Thank You
the
for Smoking.
That's what I was gonna say. Thank you for smoking.
Tobacco.
He works for the tobacco.
Oh, thank you for smoking the King's Speech. Smoking
Oh,
Speech.
Thank you for smoking
Smoking
speech.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
I
smoking
guess.
speech is correct.
Thank you
All
for
right.
I will assume that was just an
smoking
ode to the movie, stuttering your way through it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Oscar-winning performance. You know, he
Thank you
actually
for
read his off of
smoking
paper the whole time
speech.
shooting as well.
Oh yeah, classic move.
No one really thinks about the King's Speech
Smoking
anymore, although I think
speech.
it
No.
won Best Picture.
It was just on like in a hotel room the other day that I was in when I was traveling,
That
and I
seems like a
watched
hotel room
I
movie,
watched
yeah.
the back half.
Nice. That's
And
a
was
remote
like-
drop for you. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
I was like, you know what?
nice.
Yeah. Well, I watch if it's a hotel room that has all commercial channels and then like 2 HBOs. I'm watching one of the HBOs.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Really?
care what it is. I would rather watch an uninterrupted piece of shit than like watch a movie that I like interrupted
Rush
more
Hour
and more
2,
frequently.
Over 4 hours.
Yeah. I
It
feel
takes
like
a while.
I'm the opposite. I feel like I yearn for like I get a 6-minute break right now to just like look at my phone and do shit. Well, it's like
I
awesome.
can't. It's
a movie I've already seen
It's
before.
the inanity of the commercials. It just gets in there, and they're always turned up at a higher volume,
That's
and I
fair.
just like get a little
That's
bit
fair.
crazy.
Someone's
That's
just
fair.
yelling osteoporosis at you.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. In the
Or-
hotel room and
yeah.
commercials, it's all now like medical condition,
is.
like
Meso-
drugs.
Yeah. What can we
Glioma.
trick the elderly into buying right
Yes.
now
Yeah.
by like fear mongering them into
Yes.
needing?
100%.
Yes.
All commercials are now Price is Right commercials.
Correct.
Yeah, pretty much.
Correct.
Next one. Oh, I don't even remember what this one is.
It's fun.
That's a good sign.
Okay, even Happy Days would be like reel it in. You've jumped the shark from the rest of these.
Oh,
these ones,
okay.
we're,
I thought that was a clue, and I was like,
no.
I
These
like
ones,
this.
these ones are all Happy Dazed and Confused.
See?
That's a good one.
Next one here. They get bad. Troubled by the fact that he has little access to his children, a divorced man hatches a plan to use a teleportation device to become half British nanny, half housefly.
So the fly.
But what is the? Mrs.
Doubtfire?
Doubtfire.
Ew,
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire. One thing I've noticed on this podcast is the worse these get, the better I am at them. Which is not a good sign, but that's definitely a thing. Definitely a thing.
Mrs.
Okay.
Doubt the Flyer. Either way, I'm not gonna imagine I hold this against you. Like, get it exactly how I wrote it down.
Hell yeah!
I had
that was as clunky as what happens when you take human genomes
and
with fly
put them together.
genomes.
Yeah, you're
and it is that messy cluster of horror. That's what that title represents. So
I don't know
good on you.
if Robin Williams and Jeff Goldblum could be in a movie together.
That would be interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Especially now.
Definitely it'd be a tough one now, but yeah. Even in the 90s, that would be a tough melding of
styles.
Iconic dads type characters,
Mm-hmm. The writer is just like on set, just crossing out everything they've put down.
I don't know why. Why am I here?
Miss Doubtfire, the older you get, the more your allegiances change.
He's a horrible father. He has no business taking care. There's a fucking donkey in the house. That's insane. Dude, he is one of the worst fathers. I am like a very fun uncle, and sometimes I get to take care of like my niece and nephew, and like
you're not bringing in.
I'm the wildest person in the world, and never would I do any of this shit that guy does.
Right,
like horrible father.
Also,
totally insane.
I don't know if any of them are fit to be parents if they can't see that that's her ex in makeup. Like if you don't immediately recognize that and you're like, this is a person I'm willing to send a W-9 to.
That's a problem.
Yes.
I'll tell you what doesn't bother me. I absolutely would not think that Dustin Hoffman was Dorothy Michaels.
Oh yeah, I'm with you there.
I don't blame those people at all.
No, I'm with you there. 100%.
I mean?
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Number something. A comet hurtling towards Earth could mean the end of all human life, including that of a lounge singer who was relocated to a convent for her protection.
Okay, so that's Sister Act?
Yeah, but what is the
Armageddon? No,
it's the other one.
There's a bunch of end of day.
Deep Sister
Impact?
Act. Deep
Sister Impact.
That's it. Deep Sister Impact.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh boy, one.
I feel dirty.
I typed that one and the paperclip popped up and was like, "You got to stop whatever you're doing." I'm not even in Microsoft Word.
That's awesome.
I'm so
Deep
woozy.
Sister Impact.
I love Sister Act, but man, if that movie was made, if that was a rated R movie, if that was just like a little edgier and more fun, that would be like Beverly Hills Cop. Like that would be iconic forever. Everyone loves it type movie.
I meant to tell you this, Todd. I just watched My Cousin Vinny for the first time.
Oh wow!
Someone did it on the podcast. Rachel Scanlon was on here and did it, and just watched it one night. It's a good movie.
Tremendous movie.
Pretty okay, right? I haven't seen it in a while.
I had a really good time.
I think it's pretty good.
Fun.
I love Fred Gwynn. Fred Gwynn, he's like a judge.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he was so good. And that's another one where I'm like, I bet if I'm younger, I think Joe Pesci is a good lawyer.
Yeah.
And now I'm older and I'm like,
he
should be in jail. These people are all.
Yeah.
And what is her name?
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei won an Oscar for that movie.
She did.
I don't know if that's the last time someone's won an Oscar being that funny.
Yeah, probably.
There was that, and then Mira Sorvino won not too long after that, and I feel like both of those people were like, "That was a mistake.
Yeah,
they were supposed to say someone else's name."
But she was so wonderful and so good.
Yeah, she's terrific.
And it's you watch a movie and you're like, "Oh, you're better than everybody and funnier than everybody." And Joe Pesci's in this movie, when he cared.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
I love her because she always makes really interesting choices, but she also gets to be a part of a franchise that is making her a lot of money, and you're like, "Great."
Oh yeah.
That seems like a good place to be.
I just want comedy to get more acting recognition.
Agree.
It's so hard.
I agree.
What she was doing that was so difficult.
Yeah.
Didn't Helen Hunt get a Best Actress for As Good as It Gets? I feel like that was maybe the last time anybody.
Yeah, but that's still not even the decade before last decade.
That's crazy. That's a long ass time ago. Yeah.
Feels like forever ago.
I don't know. After 9/11, we quit awarding humor.
Yeah, we're done. We can't do it.
Yeah.
Next one.
Great.
I'm like, I would be mad at this one. During a trip to a nursing home.
I feel like we're getting into like a dimensional drift.
This is sort of getting into like almost therapy for me.
Okay, perfect.
During a trip to a nursing home, a trapped housewife hears stories about a free-spirited woman who, during the Great Depression, witnessed supernatural events from death row.
Oh my Jesus!
We got a Green
Wait, can you
Mile
read
there,
that again?
right?
Sorry.
During a trip to a nursing home, a trapped housewife, emotionally trapped, I would say. They didn't say it online. I would say that. She's not physically trapped. Here's stories about a free-spirited woman who, during the Great Depression, witnessed supernatural events from death row.
The Green Mile seems right.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that in a long time. I don't remember if there was a supernatural thing there. What is the first half of that? What is the nursing home?
Makes a trip to a nursing home. An emotionally trapped housewife. So the plot of that one is an emotionally trapped housewife goes to a nursing
another
home.
One with a little bit of a framing device.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, what about fried green tomatoes?
Oh,
Doesn't
Fried
Kathy
Green Mile. The
Bates...
Fried Green Mile. There you go. Nicely
fried
done.
Green Mile?
Fried green to mile toes.
Oh,
Mile toes. Touche. Touche.
Physically recoiling.
Yeah. It's a good call with fried green tomatoes.
You know, we had to clean the studio. She threw up everywhere.
Yeah. I feel like that and What's Eating Gilbert Grape get melted in my mind together. It's a hard one to...
Just fruit-based titles?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Oh, way to call tomatoes out for being a fruit. Edgy.
Yeah, that is edgy.
I'll say
it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Damn.
Why not?
I'll say it.
Fried green tomatoes. Great.
Okay, I would say this one is the hard... They're all...
Hey,
these are all bad.
We've gotten all of these.
Oh, yeah, it's still 4-1. I forgot to keep score on the rest of these.
We're good at this.
A transplanted New Yorker tries to acclimate to L.A., and his buddy, a self-proclaimed master of seduction, assembles a team of Jewish soldiers to commit violent acts of retribution against Nazis.
So the Tarantino one is obvious. What the first? Wait. Oh, it's
Inglourious Basterds.
Glorious Bastards.
It is Swing Glorious Bastards. Oh, you were like upset saying
I hate how bad I hate how good I am at the bad ones. It makes me feel like a fraud.
You were like saying it and disappointed in yourself as you're saying it, and also asking as though you didn't know that was the answer.
Swing Glorious. I feel like Ingers has to still be in there though, right? Like
Glorious Bastards.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Great.
Yeah.
We're not breaking this down away from it being good. Great. I'll say that much.
It's not going to get it there.
Last one. I love this one.
Okay, all right.
A young baby is abandoned in front of a loft where 3 unmarried men live, and they must escort the baby to a train across the West so it can be taken to trial.
Okay, three men and a baby.
10 to Yuma. 10 to Yuma and a baby?
Oh,
you men and a baby?
There's a good way to say it.
3 men...
Oh, 3 men to Yuma.
3 men.
Right?
I'll take 3 men to Yuma or 3 10 and a baby to Yuma.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
All right.
3 men to Yuma is a movie I'd watch.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
I think that is also just 310
to Yuma.
Yeah,
it's really basically 3 guys in
and
there.
A baby.
Well, congratulations. It's 4-1.
No, that was. I didn't realize we were playing against each other.
Well,
that's why I just wanted to solve them all with you.
As well.
You did a great job.
That was team.
All right, we're gonna take the second of the 2 dad games that I sent you here.
Nice.
And this game is called Guess What Movie Trailer Kyle's dad is describing, having only watched the trailer and never having heard of the movie, the game.
Dude, I haven't done a dad game in a long time.
Yes.
Will you kick that music on there? I think we got a Kyle dad music.
Guess which
Just
movie?
push. There it is.
Okay. Oh, wow. Guess what movie trailer Kyle's dad is describing, having only watched the trailer and never having heard of the movie game.
How this works is my dad watched the movie trailer, wrote down what happened, reads back his notes.
Great. Also, I would go to clubs more if that music were playing in the club.
Yeah.
He got the best. I love the
fierce.
intro song. They're so good. They're so good.
It's pretty great. He has not been to a movie theater in about 30 years.
Great. I'd say that's probably true for my dad, too.
Not super good with actors would probably be an understatement.
Cool.
Has called Guy Pearce Brad Pitt a dozen times.
He's not the only one.
But to be fair, I mean, it's not that off. Right.
That's what everyone was pushing for.
You know who else calls him that? Guy Pearce's agents.
Absolutely.
2 people.
Absolutely.
That's correct.
Yep.
Any movie ever. This could be any movie ever. He's just describing what happens. Here we go.
Okay. A lot of quick shots of this cop. He's great at everything. That's a weird reason to make him go to work somewhere else. This place is very safe. They don't seem like really important crimes. Wait. Now 3 people have died in a week. No one thinks it's murder. They're all kind of goofy. Shots of the murderer while people talk about how there is not a murderer. Now intense shots of the cop getting guns. He's hopping over some fences.
Yeah.
You know what
this guy is not. Cop stuff, car chases, gunfights, exploding houses. This guy has foam in his mustache.
There's some iconic shots from that movie in there. Also,
I feel
this
like
is the first
I'm
time
on
I've
the
heard
brink
him.
of hearing, of
He
knowing.
did
But
that movie's a parody of other movies, and I never thought about how that would impact the Dad Game. How like
Right.
what he's reading, those things do happen in other movies.
Yeah.
right.
I would say there's one, if you've seen this, of the biggest giveaway shots.
The fence.
Yeah.
The fence shot. Yeah, that's like that. That's the moment in the trailer for sure.
Janet,
I don't know.
guesses?
I said I was on the brink, but
It's Hot Fuzz.
It is Hot Fuzz.
oh, fuzz.
But I feel like that's phenomenal that like the first until that fence part happens, that could be so many other cop movies.
Yeah.
God, you know what? I'm realizing I am an Americanist in that I would far prefer usually to watch a British movie, but hearing your dad in his American voice describe it, it never occurred to me
That's
it was an
right.
American movie.
That's
Yeah,
really
that
funny.
was actually his
I
British
couldn't
accent.
make the leap.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Get him on the phone. I got to talk to him.
I get that though. That's really
I couldn't
interesting.
do
Yeah,
it.
I wasn't there until there were shots from the trailer. I
Couldn't
recognized
do
that.
it.
Because it
Could
takes
not
itself
do
so
it.
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I
movie.
love that movie.
Great movie. Phenomenal.
Those boys.
Well, that's it for us. Janet, thanks for being here and having
thanks for
never seen
having
Apocalypse
me.
Now.
Oh yeah.
I've never appreciated more than I haven't seen it.
If there's anywhere you want people to find you, anything that you want them to check out, tell them about that stuff.
Well, I do some podcasts. I have a podcast called the JV Club where I talk to people about their awkward teenage years. I do a podcast about Avatar: The Last Airbender for Nickelodeon called Braving the Elements. Those are just two things you could check out.
Wow, those sound wildly different.
They're very different.
That's
I
phenomenal.
also do a criminal justice reform podcast with like an investigator.
Wow.
I do too many things and fail at all.
We'll let
of them.
everyone know it's exclusively the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar: The Last Airbender that you break down every single time.
There's always something fun to be said about that great piece of art. You go back and you enjoy it in a whole new way.
I've never seen someone make a movie that they shrug when people ask them about the movie they made quite like that.
Oh my God. People in that fan community, everybody's just like, we don't talk about
Yeah.
That's really funny. That's
My
really
girlfriend
didn't
is
funny.
happen.
obsessed with it, and it's
Yeah.
just like, because the new show is coming out. And
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
well, have you seen the M. Night and she's like,
Yeah.
one finger on my mouth, me? Like, well, I'm...
You're lucky she didn't just punch you to knock you out in the middle of your sentence. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys very much for listening. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.
Hell yeah.
I've never seen it.